VCT Americas, please welcome your two teams to the stage. It's 2G and Furia. Two Brazilian teams, both of whom yet to get a win in this stage, guys, trying to fight to keep those playoff chances in their control.
Yeah, crucially, neither of them out of contention. And I still think this 2G roster have a lot to show. I don't want to be too down on them after their loss to G2 last week. It's still G2. I think that was a poor match with the maps for 2G. And with Spike back in the team, I'm really excited to see more from these guys.
Yeah, and I feel like from Furia, they have a little bit of that pressure to kind of perform, especially because you're playing against this Brazilian Ascension team instead of, being that Brazilian team that made it to VCT. So I think they have a little bit to show and a lot to kind of go for.
Let's talk about the maps a little bit. Is there anything that you guys are looking at as a map that you think Furia would have an advantage on or would have their best chance of getting something across the board here? Is there an easy win at all, in your opinion?
No idea. I mean, something interesting we saw from them last week is that they allowed Sunset in against Sen, and
Sure.
Sen are insane on that map, always have been. And they came in with kind of a weird gimmick comp with the Sage where they were kind of just spamming B hits, walling off market. So it does make me question how deep their map pool is because they haven't had a lot of time. They're just kind of gimmicking it out. I don't really know.
It feels like we don't know who Furia is yet.
Yeah.
You were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, because I feel like exactly what both of you are saying, like their comps and the way that they're playing is just a little bit off. It feels like something is a bit off, but that could come play in their favor because if they play a crazy map and have this weird comp that no one's ever seen before, maybe they can throw the other team off.
But on the other hand, for 2G, I think their identity is clear. We've talked a lot about it. If they play Breach Neon, they set Spike up for success. That's when they've looked their best.
Yeah, I mean, they need to figure out a way to shut down Spike and be able to put a wrench in that. And Corrode being the first map, I think, might actually play in their favor. You get this new map, the spammable spots, all these random stuff that you can do. You might be able to get away with being something or doing something weird.
Yeah, interesting to see Furia pick that immediately. I'm just thinking Neon map. We're talking about Spike. I would say it's 100% guarantee we're going to get him on his best agent straight away. And then map 2, Sunset, is in the pool. That's looking like 2G's best map.
Yeah.
And Ascent is the decider. And I've liked 2G's Ascent, even though they weren't able to get a win on it last week. So this is looking like a rough pool, honestly, I think, for Furia.
Yeah, the way that Sunset plays out are the lines of the map are actually perfect for breach stuns, especially when you're taking that aiming control and taking those beaming fights, even towards mid if you wanted to. A lot of splits can be made with that breach. So if they're sticking to the same comp and sticking to the same game plan, it's looking more like 2G in favor for that map.
And that's a map, as you mentioned, where Furia has had to already show their gimmick and put that VOD out there. So 2G, a squad who can prep for that. Here comes your
They
agent.
just love Sage.
And
this
Furia
team just loves Sage.
Big Sage fans.
We keep playing Sage maps.
Hey, but
Sage maps.
what better to beat
quote-unquote.
Neon than Neon? You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're cooking something with the slow and the stun.
Do you think there's merit to Sage on this map? I mean, you're giving up an info senti to pick it. You don't have a lot of initiator utility. What's the sell?
I mean, my problem with how they played Sage last time was when they were taking sites, they were blocking off any map control for themselves. So whenever they were stuck on a site in that post plant, they could get retaken from. Yes, they only made it 1 or 2 angles, but they also couldn't be able to take that space for themselves. So it felt pretty lackluster, so I'm hoping they have a new spin on it.
And on the other side, we're seeing what I kind of want to call right now the standard Corrode comp, which was a double controller with the Viper. You have the Vice, which Silence, I think Vice was actually his best agent in stage 1. So you're going to get him on that Sentinel. And then obviously, already mentioned it, but we got Spike on Neon. I feel like those are some good comfort roles. I think the standard comp is probably ideal for the squad that they have.
Yeah, with pretty much needing double controller on this map, you can't really fit a breach in, but you do have the Omen Paranoia, lots of tools to make that work. Corrode, map number 1 here between 2G and Furia, so let's not wait any longer as we hop into game with your casters, Doug and Ender.
Thank you so much, Mimi. A rematch in a setup such as this between 2G and Furia. And Chrissy, we haven't had. Were you waiting to do that? You were waiting to do that.
Hey,
weren't
look,
you?
we're both just dressed for the map pool we've got ready for us. He's gonna be keeping us afloat. Can you just keep it going, Doug? Don't let me. I'm drowning out here.
Let's talk about let's talk about the rematch. Let's talk about 2G and Furia because we've seen this before.
Yes, we have. Yeah, all the way.
Yeah?
All the way back at the start. It jarred me for a moment because back when we saw Furia versus 2G, it was at kickoff, and it was Turtle Troop versus 2G. That was Furia's only series win this year. We're going to be loading up fast with Samsung SSDs for the Samsung match start. But it's our first time actually seeing these teams face off in a BO3 since then.
To start things off on Corrode, the new map, a couple of new faces, and a Sage pick, which I'm sure we'll get into here in just a moment. 2G is going to start on the attacking side. Here you already have that aggressive Viper wall across the middle of the map. Meanwhile, Furia leaning towards posturing for some control in that very same area.
Yeah, get used to it. Viper wall up at the start of the round, walk up with little fade on the other side. It's going to get some info of these players working into B, but if Furia hold on to this mid control, the rotates onto the B side come in so quickly.
It becomes so suffocating to have to play around, and Tuis will be up front. You can hear the wall is just about to go down, which means Godfire will inevitably erupt. Paula there to take first contact, a paranoia, and a stun. What value are they getting on the other side of that?
Not a whole lot, but LZ's taken so low, Doug.
Meanwhile, the spike is sitting here. This is dangerous. They're going to have to find a way to alleviate some of that pressure elsewhere along the map. But fortunately, it's just enough smokes to provide some cover, provide safe passage, and then get out onto B. A great opener from Gobera, but rotations have arrived.
Yeah, 2G are just too slow to move it over into the B site. Now frantically trying to get involved into the site. Silence finds 2, Silence gets 3. 2J own it.
Barongo left in a 1v2. LZ very weak, but Spike committed. So many different angles that have to be checked. Not a single kill will be found. That's a 4K for the Sentinel and the pistol for 2G.
Silence just went full beast mode there. I mean, 2G were kind of out of the round, it seemed like. The 2B players both getting shot down early before the rest of the team could group up. But I want to see his transfer here. Just beautiful work out of him. Even dodging behind the box for a second after the second shot he connected. Really nicely done.
Wyatt was mentioning that Vice was his best agent, and I mean, there's certainly a little bit of comfort that's shown on this. I want to get your thoughts very quickly as we lead into this next round. The Sage pick on Corrode. We don't see that super often as Sage dies.
Yeah, well, Vice is just better than Sage. What can you say? No, it's a pick that we've only seen gone for in Pacific, as far as I know. We've seen Gen G play. We've seen global esports played against each other, as a matter of fact. And it does come with some weaknesses, right? You're not going to have the passive info that a Vise is going to get you. But I have seen a few different Americas players running it in solo queue. Like Baby Bay, I saw played a little bit of Sage. Junk QT's played some Sage. And I think on a map where a lot of teams are running a lot of these like fast openers, the Sage just putting down an early wall over by A and then being able to reinforce the team into a mid fight gives you a lot of power in terms of just taking a lot of numbers to a fight because you have the guarantee of the wall.
Would you say that's notably stronger on the defensive side and it falls off a little on attack, or were you expecting a similar approach on attack?
I would say it's nicer on defense to control into mid space, but if you're able to hold on to the wall when it comes time for post plants, it really simplifies things on the attacking side. But you have to get control of the site first, and that's tough.
Well, after Sage's thesis has been presented, meanwhile, all of the site had been taken. LZ much further up, but Verso has a Phantom, or had a Phantom. That nice little gift sitting on the map.
Little closer comfort.
Yeah, Tui's managed to pick that up. Both playing over an elbow. Got Gobera, who's a little bit outside of play. Heat's gotten 2 with the classic. That's not even the stronger weapon. Now the orb to provide some cover.
Tui's has a Phantom.
41 HP. What can Gobera do here? Full armor. Tap. And it's just a threat. It's just a bait. It's just a temptation to get them into the swing, and Tui's. That Phantom was the difference maker.
Absolutely unreal. He's going to have the time here as well. 0.67.
That was way closer than I thought it was going to be.
Honestly, I have to see Heat again. This guy went for a jump. Like, usually when you have 2 people coming around a wall and you've got a guy on low HP, you go for the jump peek to break a crosshair.
Right.
And you're supposed to die. But he gets the right click on the jump, kills the second player as well. Just unreal work out of him.
And then the third to secure the defuse. Big plays for sure out of Tui's. And so that's going to tie us up. That's going to put the money in a weird spot where now you've got Gobera on a Stinger, light armor on a couple of members of 2G. But we've already bucked the trend of what would be expected.
I'll find you.
2G just want to run a fast play into the B side. No Vise on this side, makes it really easy to quickly accelerate on in. Have 5 players alive when it comes time for the post plant.
Heat has not been cleared though. And he's already gotten a kill. Make that 2. Challenge onto the 3rd will ultimately succumb to the pressure. But the damage has been done.
Yeah, the whole time they're pushing down into elbow to kill Heat. Players coming in on the rotate, that Odin getting spammed through the wall.
One thing for 2G here is they did manage to get the spike down. There's just so much as far as personnel and utility and firepower on the other side that you'd imagine 2G will fall, assuming Fury can execute it correctly. Now this retake is afoot, the dash comes through, 1 kill traded back. When you're up in numbers, you take that equation any day of the week.
$2G need to reset quickly into this game. They're letting that round 2 slip away from them. But I do think they're onto something with just trying to abuse a little bit of this B site. Most teams that are playing the double smokes, the Sentinel, it's obviously going to be the Vise in there, and they can stack some of that Vise utility on the Viper. Makes breaching B really challenging, unless you're splitting out or you have to put a lot of pressure down early to bait away the utility. But unless the Sage moves to that side of the map, 2G can quickly move in wherever the Sage isn't.
I wonder if the game becomes a bit of finding the Sage under the hat, if you will. Once you identify where she's playing, you can play on the other side. This time the slow orb's going to give the position away right at the beginning. Yeah,
slow orb plus a little bit of spam. If anyone's trying to go for an early orb or something like this, you can look for a pick.
Seeing some of that mid-fight already. Tui's getting a quick pick, traded back on the other side of the wall.
Looking for a little bit too much there.
Yeah.
Had teammates rotating in, but they're just a little bit slow. Plus there's a smoke in front of them, so they can't really help.
You got a freeze in the round now where I guess they're leaving Silence to go find anything he can.
Yeah, well, 2G need to freeze because that Sage wall went down into A, so it allows Orango, even with only 3 players alive, to move and hold this line.
He's going to have to do more than just hold it. Drops the slow orb, takes a step back, manages to preserve life.
That stall isn't very effective when a Neon's just running straight through your slow field.
Yeah, and the wall has now been cleared. They can push through that as well. Orango did his best to hide and play behind his utility, but you can only do so much. So now Heat and Verso are going to rotate back out onto the site a little bit late and outnumbered in the post plant.
There is a Nightfall for Verso, though. They're going to be running into this wall, though. That's gonna ruin everything. Give up the Ghost a little bit. Because really, they needed to find a pick and then pop the Nightfall if they wanted to actually give this a go. Now they're just going to hold high-low here, pick up any guns as they play for the exits. They're very comfortable with each other.
Poison's off.
It's team bonding.
Oh, they're all coming into Furia!
See that spam. Get a little bit
come on. Heat just sold Verso out. Not. I thought
so much for the team bonding and
I
being
really
comfortable.
thought they were friends. And he dies anyways. That's just sad.
So far we've had two round wins for 2G, and in both of those, Silence has been a key part of their success. Currently sitting at 8-2.
Yeah, got the ultimate online last round as well, so didn't have to use that. They can use that again to just bully, especially in post plants. I think that ult is so good at just stalling things out, forcing the other team to go for a reset. And Silence is a guy that is obviously flexing back onto Duelist sometimes, but has always been such a sharp shot for this 2G team, even pre-spike.
He will continue. He will have to continue to be that for them to find success. Prize used the dog towards B main at the very beginning of the round. Not going to find any tag, so ensuring there's no early presence and pressure coming in from the western side, and they can turn their attention over to A, and where Orango's left there once again.
Exactly. You can see the combination of the orb, or slows, or a wall. Really what the Sage does for you is just buys you an extra 5-10 seconds, and that's enough for your 2-3 players that are always hanging out in mid to have the quick rotate over on the A side.
Imagine the value of the delay decreases as we're in rifle rounds. I mean, you put the wall up, it was melted instantly, so you aren't really getting as much as you were before.
Oh, it devalues as well when, again, Spike is just doing that.
But there's the quick rotation you were talking about. Paula is already at the scene. He's already on the site.
But behind enemy lines, LZ went for that Omen ult, so he's guaranteed spawn is clear. Now 2G can all focus down into Link.
Gotta be careful if you're Silence here. He has been the star for 2G.
Toxin screen down.
He's been lethal.
Spike planted.
Currently top fragging, and there is a lot to do on the other side of this orb.
Tons of support coming in for him as well. All this delay.
Raw confirming suspicions. C's not connecting, and the clock is ticking. They are taking their dear sweet time on this.
It's a save. They can't play the game. And this is another round. Adverso's been sitting on this ultimate, but it's so hard to get back into that A side, especially because, again, the Omen ulted back into spawn. So when 2G know that it's only one choke point that Fury are flooding in from, because they're always playing for mid, they're playing for the rotates through there, it's so easy to designate all of your utility,
right.
put your sharpest shooter right now in silence on that line, and there's no way Fury are getting back in.
So 2G will take the lead. Questions, again, continue to abound on when Adverso will choose to pull that trigger on his Nightfall. You wonder here if, I mean, it's early, but I wonder if a timeout may be in the near future.
Yeah, Fury have been going for similar setups every round. 3 players fighting into mid. Orongo just controlling A with the early wall. But I am a bit concerned for this Sage with how frequently 2G have proven to pounce onto it.
Interesting defensive setup here. They've been fighting the middle of the map for what you've been so, I mean, eloquently highlighting, and now they are foregoing controlling the middle of the map completely.
Yeah, but look at Spike. Spike's just slipped into this empty space, realizes nobody's home. No one's up in A either, so they know it's a B stack immediately.
He's gonna get bullied. The Sage can't hold there.
You have no information. You can't hold 2 lines on your own. It's a disaster.
I think 2G are exposing the defensive plan from Furia very early.
But a 1-for-1 is good for Furia. Now they have actually 4 rifles to play with on even footing.
And the Adverso ult. Maybe this is when we see that become a part of the equation.
Here it is.
At the ready and now popped. The stunt will buy a little bit of time, and Prize is there to cover. Beautifully done from the attack.
But again, Furia are trying to come at this retake from just 1 choke point.
And
you're gonna get deleted!
Not enough options, not enough ways in. 2G hold the line again.
Really just putting themselves into a choke. And surely what's going on in Furia's mind is they think that the Nightfall is just a round winner, right? You get good information off the blood trails onto the ground. You can break that choke point, it doesn't matter. But I think that's just the wrong read because, again, 2G knew exactly where the approach was coming from. They had the read on it initially, so they were fully focused on just that one single lane, just like the round previous.
Right. This time a little bit of help for the Sage, as 2East has joined him. A bit more stalwart in the early defensive approach.
Always keep your eye out for these tiny little angles you can see around the curvature of the Omen smoke.
Wow. Just a pixel. That's all it takes. 2G will once again flirt with A.
But now this hold from A should be better because it'll be a paranoia on the reaction. And then Sage slows. Well, actually, Orongo's already out of those. So the stall not as good as I thought it was going to be.
However, the wall closing off any approach from the middle of the map kind of makes that a bit one-dimensional for 2G.
And Orongo can look down over potential smokes that are dropped here. Play off of his teammate in pocket.
Has now dropped off a wall and playing a little bit further up. What is the go button for 2G here? Waiting for the gas to run out. 2East takes a step back. Does not have that paranoia anymore.
Furia need to stay alive on site here. Stall as long as they can.
The problem is, Adverso's is stuck off the play by his own wall.
Stuck on the wall.
So he can't get into it. He can't bolster the defenses. He can't reinforce the whole day. Fortunately for him, fortunately for Furia, 2G have stalled out. And now they're made their way out of elbow. Paula able to punish with 1, and Furia stand tall.
Good work out of 2E's that round. Previously, we'd seen Orongo overcommitting a little bit to that A fight against all the utility they've been throwing him. So 2E's realized he can step back once the clock is starting to wind down. And if Furia just bunker in on site, you don't have to worry about retaking it. You just want to keep flooding players in to go toe-to-toe as 2G try to hit, and that worked.
You can't lose a retake if you never lose the site.
Exactly. It's just so simple to play Valorant if you never lose the site.
One enemy remaining.
We are continuing to see some of these like clunky. Maybe clunky feels like the best word for it. Out of Furia. Little situations like that feel like they're not synergistic, that they're kind of stumbling over their own approach in these rounds.
With that Sage wall over in Link you're talking about? Yeah. A little awkward for Adverso. Ooh. Thought that might have been a kill. Just a lot of damage on the Spike.
LZ will fall. Furia holding a line on this mid-fight.
Toxin screen down.
B main now.
Era hasn't done this a ton, but Heat was ready for it.
Really good hold.
Enemy remaining.
Very nicely done.
Spike down A.
So it seems like the round will go in favor of Furia. And now, given how these last couple of rounds have gone, and I have to ask you, what was it that was different here? What was it that was so much more successful for Furia?
It is entirely the switch between Omen and Sage. Because Omen had been a part of the mid-fights previously, Sage had been A. So A first of all, Orongo was getting bullied in main.
Right.
And in the previous round, we saw Tui's falling away. So that was one big change. But here, in this mid-fight, the Sage slow orb is so additive when comboed with the Odin spam from top mid. Previously, it had been a paranoia. So all those players, they're getting blinded up and they're running away. Behind cover, behind walls, the Odin spam, it's getting nothing. Now, you're getting slowed down into a corner, then a neon stun is hitting you, then the spam's also just removing you from the equation. It is just that one simple switch that has unlocked these last few rounds.
Verso currently top fragging for Furia as they seem to have found their footing and tied us up at 4 apiece. A timeout has been called. And it's actually coming out on the side of 2G. So, I mean, interesting to note, Furia able to adapt on the fly, not needing the coach to get involved to make those adjustments.
Yeah.
And for 2G, not the case.
Well, I think 2G, what's happened a lot is they haven't fully dove into these mid-fights just yet, or they've tested it first, fallen out, and sort of revealed the hand of Furia. This time, they just overcommitted a little bit. And I think maybe they might want to go back to seeing how they can bully into mains. We've also seen Silent sitting on this ultimate. It's back up again for him. Having a monstrous game himself, but 2G could just bully a bit on those ults.
There's an op here, too.
Yeah.
Attack side op for the Vice.
I mean, if you have if you're the Vise and you can get into mid in the mid rounds to sort of cut rotates going through, there's options, but that's always going to be hard when that Viper wall can always be thrown up.
Right.
I'm not entirely sure I'm seeing the vision from Silence having this.
Well, we'll see if they can prove us wrong here.
It's to beat the jump peak.
Well,
okay.
That window opened and shut as quickly as we saw it.
Yeah, and also now seeing that the op is in play, Fury can work around that.
This will unlock the Nightfall for the attacking side. And so what? They fully send B here.
Yeah, but Fury have 2 players in mid that can quickly rotate in.
And there's nothing to cover that. There was a lineup for Thorns from main to cut off the rotation across the middle of the map. Meanwhile, 2G full speed ahead. Spike gets behind enemy lines. It would get a couple of kills, and now the pit in play as he does his best to keep them at bay.
Orongo's on site as well. He snuck in somehow, but that operator's holding him through.
Better late than never. The second shot will whiz right by Heat's head. And everything kind of comes to a screeching halt. Heat drops down, forced to reckon with the pit on the other side, and now the situation's gotten even harder. I don't know that Fury have a way into this. Tui's will be left alone. 20 HP, just narrowly missing that target.
Planted.
Now you've got the op trained right into heaven. Tui's with very few options except for that one, and it works out just fine.
Yeah, he wants to pick up the Odin and get out of here.
Shadows.
2G just chose to abuse the B site with the ultimates. And again there, you see a little bit of the weakness of not just having that extra layer of stall with the Vise. That Vise wall can be put down on B. That Vise can play anywhere, it doesn't matter. Fury a little bit more locked into their positions. The agents they've gone for. And this is something that even without ultimates, I do think 2G can replicate.
I think so as well.
Like, you see from the combination of the Omen smoke they're throwing on top site, to the fast lane coming out, it's really hard to lock down Spike, even if you're not getting deafened up by the Nightfall. Like, Paul is rotating into sight, and then all of a sudden, within half a second, there's a Neon sliding on him and he's dead.
And we saw the Thorns there for just a moment too in the lineup from main. That does so much to cut off and block rotations coming in from mid, so very well drilled.
Well, Furia have seen that up and called it. Orongo is going to be posted up in A main with that one. And he's always been defaulting this slow when he hasn't been playing mid. So this reveals that he's back on this line.
Yeah, Yeah, Orongo has also struggled. Currently sitting at 2 and 8, and the op is a confidence weapon. And a heavy investment.
It might be what he needs, because the fight has been being taken to him so much. If you can just get one shot off, get out of there. That could be the trick.
Puts the wall up. They still don't know that gun is in play. You also run into much tighter sight lines if you're trying to play the op on A here.
Yeah, this map is very close corridors.
A second opportunity. Just a pixel is all it will take. Can Orongo find success? No. Off the mark.
And now the whole of 2G go flying into the site. Orongo doesn't have the support necessary just yet.
He's also not fully backing up. Backs up the line of scrimmage just a bit, but is attempting to dig his heels in. Now rotations have arrived. Now reinforcements are on the scene.
And Tui still has a paranoia to assist from on site.
Dog trying to find the op as another shot rattles off. Verso will fall. Tui's a little labored, but finally finds its mark, and Paula dashing forward. Stunts connect, the spray does too. Paula gets his two. Orongo has to take a step back, and Paula saves him once more.
There. Your duty.
Paula just with a masterclass. And it didn't even come down to Orongo's op. We put so much focus on it, he just got smoked off and wasn't able to play the game.
And
both of these ops, really.
I mean, if not for Paula's heroics, that op is sitting on the ground. You lose the sight, you lose the round, probably.
Maybe I'm overreacting. I want the ops out of here. Like, Silence was doing numbers pre-op. Now he's forced to play so far away in the post plant. Just hasn't been super involved. Okay, that transfer. That was sick out of Paula.
That ties us up at 5. Silence still sitting comfortably at the top of the leaderboard at 14 and 4, and no
Early wall boost that we're playing in front of, but we got prowlered.
And the op shot off, so
He's playing Minecraft. Get him out of here.
Oh gosh, I can't believe he got away with that. He should have died. Counting his lucky stars. And look at how quickly the defense is rotating over here. This is dangerous if you're 2G. You're brute forcing your way into this, and it might be ill-advised. Paula does his best, but the counterpunch from Paula is prettier. Quite frankly, 3 on the round. 4
One enemy
tries to
remaining.
dash away. Ace not in play, and Prize is left alone. Now Prize has to solve a 1v3 where he has, I mean, he's got time, and they're not really in a position to trade each other. He's got to ISO these fights, but the op will connect. Furia take the lead.
On my mark.
Last round.
Do you want to talk on being in front of the Sage wall? You want to hit that again?
I don't. I think we're going to move on.
Yeah.
And we're just going to talk about Paula, I suppose.
Yeah.
I feel like Spike sort of over-forced a little bit there. That guy's calm, okay?
Thank you.
Shout out Paula for an incredible round.
Through the calm.
Forces 2G onto the worst possible buy on the last round of the half.
Yeah. Spike has ult and a stinger. And Silence has a sheriff. Deeper wall out from the Sage here, eh?
And it actually gives Fury a lot of information to work off of, because previously that wall would have been broken down very, very quickly.
Immediately.
And Fury, without seeing or hearing anything in mid, you've got to be prepped for a B-pop. And that's, I think, why 2G are slowing down. If they wait till under a minute on the clock once the Sage wall breaks, then the threat of an A-pop returns. You might actually call some rotates back over instead of this 3-hold that Fury have going right now.
Dog out mid from the attack. Causes a refresh smoke from the Omen.
Sage wall just fell down in main. As a matter of fact, Silence used a Vise flash there that didn't see anyone, so he knows that Fury aren't playing up behind the wall.
I can't believe Fury are still here B. Given that the wall has gone down, given that you hear the flash, but again, brute force is the name of the approach that they want. They've already TP'd out onto site. Look at where LZ is. Finally dropping down, and he transfers all over 2G.
One enemy remaining.
3 kills found. Silence left in 1v2. With just a sheriff in play, has to settle the shots, gets it down to 1v1. health left. The spike in hand. Trying to commit to the plant. Will be given the window. But the crosshair was there for Orongo, and that's going to be another round for Furia.
Huge round to take there at the end. Somehow dealing with Silence, who's been just a beast all map long.
15 and 6 to close out the half, but I'm inclined to agree with you. Once he got the op in his hands, it did feel like he slowed down a fair amount.
Yeah, it was just hard to find that same level of impact. Yeah, he can have some rounds like this, but it's a little bit too little too late at the end of things.
Still a close opening half on Corrode, 7-5 the way of Fury, and it seemed like 2G was going to run away with it. I think we're in for a good rest of the map. We will be right back.
I know what you're thinking. Total glow up. What's her secret? Fine, I'll spill. I totally upgraded with Verizon. Everyone gets a free phone with any plan, even if you're already a customer, like me. Now I have Google Gemini. It's like a little glam squad in my pocket. Gemini, what eye makeup goes with this lipstick? I'd suggest a classic cat eye. Wow, setting the bar high for daycare pickup. Get in on this.
Well, both of these teams, Furia and 2G, are still fighting for their first series win of the year. The one asterisk being Furia getting their win with Turtle Troop. But for both of these teams, there has been a lot of lack of success and a lot of frustrations and a lot of question marks from the Brazilian community.
Yeah, and all year long as well, roster cycling of waiting for Spike to grow up, to swapping out their IGL on 2G's side, Furia as well. Even with Adverso as a late addition here, solve things for stage 2. Trap play though, off of this contact. Paranoia, here goes Spike.
Trying to dash out ahead of it, but the counter utility is just too much. And that Paranoia no longer being in play in a pistol is notable.
Yeah, now that second layer of stall will not actually be there. The Viper Vise setup is on the A side of things for 2G.
Spike's stun is now gone too. Yeah. They don't really have the tools here to hold this back. And Paul is playing with fire, trying to bait them out. The dink will be delivered. But Spike gets the kill, traded back. The site is now theirs.
Those two rotates that came through mid as well, you can see there's a Sage Wall put down in the post flank. Cutting rotates, forcing all 4 players through spawn. We saw the inverse of this last half. The one lane retakes never work. Oh. And this is the value of the Sage pick, Doug. Yeah. This right here.
Managed to get back out onto the site though.
What?
Orongo will fall. A couple of kills, they get back towards heaven, towards spawn, were exactly what they needed.
I think my brain actually misfired.
Yeah, you stalled out
I saw all the fights in the spawn. I was like, there's no way that Fury are dying. But the more I look at the positions they were taking, they weren't holding the crossfires like we saw 2G holding in their post plants in the last one. They like kept sprinting forward.
Yeah, they just scaled too far.
Fighting into spawn.
And that little difference, that was all it took. And so now 2G get a very important pistol in this close game. They've got an Outlaw in the hands of Spike, a Guardian 2 for Silence, and Light Armor on 2 members for Furia. And there's that Angro line out from Spike. Two shots, 2 kills. Well done to trade back. The weapon not really in a position to be scooped up though. That's all you can really ask for if you're Furia here.
Here.
Cheeky little lineup. The paranoia, the swing from the other side.
I mean, we're getting our classic kills.
Yeah, it is never clean, is it?
Down, their seat. Can't get a third.
Boy, LZ, that was the last bullet in that magazine, and we might have had a little more silly. But we're now tied at 7 apiece. Now Fury are going to be able to buy back up, and if I'm not mistaken, it was just what the Guardian and the Stinger brought over.
Yeah, just a couple there at the end. Things started out so well. The fact Durango gets a couple there, definitely good news for him. Actually means there's already a res online. I think that res can also be really good when it comes down to these like mid-fight brawls. You know, if you trade out evenly, get your guy right back up in there.
Find you.
Mid-eye to make sure no one's scaling forward. Question is, does Prize scale up after it?
2G have 4 here ready to take this fight once the walls come down. Actually calling out of that.
Yeah, and they've left Prize. A little gift. But I don't think he will be challenged. Fury is seemingly intent on leaning towards A. Playing a very comfortable 1-3-1 here.
Careful here.
Mid is still so uncomfortable. Like if they pivot back into B, I think things could get really challenging for them.
Bit of a false sense of security, isn't it?
Yeah.
They don't really have the mid control they think they do.
Yeah, they have to go into the A site. The B was never going to be a threat unless they manage to find some kills, maybe regroup back into some mains. But we're now down to 45 seconds, Doug.
There are 2 players in pocket on A, and they still don't know where they want to go.
And it's a full bait setup as well. LZ hiding in the corner.
Time is of the essence.
And now we're getting down to that final moment where now 2G and mid, those mid players are looking to wrap back around in to...
Fury, perhaps in a bit of trouble here. Spike gonna miss. Off on the first shot. There's that late crunch that you were alluding to. Heat falls. Honestly, they've done well to get out onto the site and get the spike down in the face of all of that. But again, there is no way out. There is no safety.
They boxed themselves in with this wall.
Paula playing on the other side of it with a little bit of help. 2G still have not been able to get out onto the site, and so they might be comfortable sitting in these hunkered down positions. Gobera gets 3 on the round. 2G take the bonus, and there are some glaring concerns for Furia as far as calling early on here.
They find themselves in this situation where like it's a 1-3-1. In theory, that's good if they can move into a site, but then. You know, at a minute 40, that's a great position to be in. And a minute 30, it's good. Minute 20. Now, then they get down to about a minute, 50 seconds. Their lurks haven't really done anything. They're not finding the fights they wanted.
Right.
And they just lost due to almost indecision.
They were down to 30 seconds left before they had committed to the A hit.
Because 2G had, you know, played a couple players in pocket, were really conservative with the fights they were taking. It was just really good bonus protocols.
Fury still have enough to scrape together a buy. 5 Stingers. And heavy armor on a couple of members. Paula dashing forward. That's a Vandal that will greet you and send you quickly into the next round. LZ getting another.
Yeah, it's not a fun position to be in for Furia. Not at all.
Some might say it's self-imposed.
At least they're acting a little bit quicker this time.
Careful here.
The end result is just about the same. Still can't really get an easy plant on the A site. They wall their back, so there's only forward. That's their only option into the round.
There.
Do you think if this is their approach, is there something in the composition that's missing that gives you maybe a little bit more initiator utility? Is Fury get it down to a 2v3 and manage to get the spike down? So actually hold that thought. I'll hold. 2G, beautifully done. Adverso is going to have to snap on of these, and he's gotten 2! He gets all 3! The Red Bull clutch for Furia!
Unreal! Adverso, the loudest guy in the building. Sure, why not? I just want to watch and enjoy. Because because this was a full Stinger buy. And now Adverso.
It was a 2v4.
I mean, it was a 1v3. But 2G, you can see, like, every single player swings by themselves. And Adverso just calmly, 1, 2, 3, knocks him down.
Just when it seemed like 2G was in a spot to run away with this map, with Furia's map pick, no less. Ah, here's the Sage plays. This right here is the moment we've been waiting for the last 16 rounds. And
there's no way Prize is still challenging up there with the Odin.
Heat falls on the extremities. The map gets a little bit smaller for Furia.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where they go from here.
I don't think they are sure.
Oh,
either.
sorry. Adverso is alive. So we're just gonna.
Never mind.
Yeah.
All good.
Adverso, just stand still, and 2G are going to walk into you. You simply shoot them.
That's the win condition, huh?
I worked last round.
Adverso has the ult. This is not a fake. The spike is close by. No, Silence did not get tagged.
Still Vi's utility in main, so pretty easy to hold it down.
Beautiful swing off of the flash. LZ, of course, paranoid, nearsighted, blinded, gets a kill anyway, but Furia still trying to do their best to get through. 1v1 once more. As Tui's has the spike in hand. A tap of the spike to see if anyone's close. Gobert is still far out of the play here.
He's waited too long now. He's going to be forced to stick the plant, and it's given time for the flank to come online, and Gobert is waiting for it.
Beautifully done. It's a 50-50 gamble there for Tui's. No real way to know, and he guessed wrong.
So 2G back in the lead. I really didn't think it was going to go their way once Kala found those couple of kills. But really, I think what this game is coming down to is just awareness in these late round situations and how well you can play off your teammate right next to you.
We're going fast B here. No mid control, no A default. Everybody B main. And you're going to have to deal with the thorns, the wall, and the flash. And the spam.
Which wall, by the way? The Vise wall or the Viper wall? It's all there.
I mean, you still got the Neon backside.
Okay.
The prize has not been cleared.
I mean, maybe Paula can just kill everyone. It's always an option.
Getting ones. Getting ones, but the defense will hold again. Gobert gets his 3, 2G gets a 10, and now, if you're a fan of 2G, you're kind of comfortable here. You're a little optimistic because once again, you're in a position where you can run away with the map.
Yeah.
You just have to avoid the pitfall that was a couple of rounds ago where we saw that disaster unfold.
And you know what? 2G are coming into this next round kitted out of their minds. They're going to have 5 ultimates ready to go. They should have all the tools, like you're saying, to keep this snowball rolling. But it's going to have to come after Furia call a timeout.
This round very, very well may decide the map. I mean, you take a look at some of the finances for Furia, there isn't much, so you imagine they're going to invest in, but this is where, again, 2G have to avoid the same mistakes that they ran into a couple of rounds ago. They can secure this map. They can walk away with this comfortably.
Yeah, and even the round that slipped away from them, by all accounts, that was a completely won round, right? That was
it wasn't.
It was a 3v1 with poor spacing going into clearing out the last guy because you just thought you were better. You weren't, fully detail-oriented on the retake.
And which one of us hasn't done that, to be fair?
I mean, I do it more often than not.
I too irresponsibly swing when I shouldn't. And so I get it. But also, I mean, if you're 2G, if you want to get your first win on this stage, if you want to walk away with besting Furia, your Brazilian brethren, you got to get rid of that crap, man.
Yeah. I mean, this is also a situation where it's the 2 teams in Alpha Group that don't have a win on the board. You lose this game, you're already in a pretty stacked group.
Right.
Good luck making it out.
Very quickly checking in, Silence continues to top frag for 2G, 21-8.
Hey, it's pistol round. We're back. That Omen stun line or paranoia line ready in B main off the jump peak. Except this time, there's a Viper's Pit in A as well.
Same I mid to make sure there's no scaling forward.
Oh, we're still going.
Yeah, they are, and they know where he is. The counter paranoia does not punish.
And now you're faced with a situation where, do you fight back and re-clear into the Neon? Okay, we get the res, but there's no way you can finish into A because not only is there the Viper ult there, but there's also Thorns on the ground. There's still another Thorn on B too. There's utility all around the map from 2G, and they're filtering into the space in mid.
The space that Furia did not really invest anything to maintain. And they have no idea. Spike is able to get his 1 kill, but Prize once again tucked in the tiniest of corners. Will get checked, still gets a kill. Looking for a little bit of help, and Silence strikes at just the right time to get one of his own.
2G just taking their moments to bully Furia as they scale forward. Now Furia 2 alive. 2E's ults next to Heat. 2G are gonna allow them to have this site. But how do they play it after they plant the spike? They don't have enough time.
Gobert is still so far away from the play because he was having to maintain the pit. Alzi realizes where the threat lies. 2E's in Heat, standing side by side. Shoulder to shoulder in Hut. He's got smokes, no flash to speak of. Gobert has a spit. And Furia are just choosing to huddle in here. There's so many things that 2G have to clear. Every single thing has to be considered. And that's going to be time. That's the big one. LZ's left in 1v2. First threat dealt with. Manages to get one, but cannot connect. Furia get to 9.
We can't understate how important that round was for Furia. The econ would have been broken. You know, you're playing against some powerful ults on the other side as well. Furia now giving themselves the slightest amount of breathing room. It's still not comfortable. It's still not easy.
That mid fight really felt like where it all fell apart. I mean, you remember Spike had an advantage. It was a 5v4 at the very beginning of the round after the B main fight. A 1-round lead for 2G as they're still trying to clutch onto this advantage and translate it, convert it into a map win.
These early rounds are all about trying to get a read where the defender's overplaying. Is it mid? Is it going to be A? So far, 2G have been lining up the Viper and Vise utility pretty consistently over on the same side. And Furia might opt to call into the stack on A, but even A, there's a Viper orb on the ground. There's still Vise util there in the Thorns. So the global stall power of 2G is incredibly potent.
And the Prize's ult, too. Remember, he's been playing across the middle of the map, rotated back towards A. Hanging on to it for now. Both Neons dashing right by each other, and it's Paula who walks away on top.
LZ can't find a kill inside the smoke either. A beautiful entry, and Paula, consistently the hero from Furia in this game, has given them a chance to tie things up.
LZ and Gobert clear the middle of the map, make sure there's no one left. And this might be a save for 2G.
It will be. Again, the value of the Sage and the post plant. If Furia are able to be successful on these opening gambits, right, when you hit into the site, playing the post plant should, in theory, be so simple for them.
Because of the utility that they have in post plant?
Yeah, I mean, the Sage wall is going to last the entire time of the spike ticking down.
Sure.
You can then focus almost all your players on just watching the one line. Yeah, your flank might be a little bit vulnerable because you don't have a Vise wall or Cypher, you know, any of that utility to guard it. That's not a real issue on a map like this where you can group up together in the post plant.
And when you're up in numbers, you can afford to put somebody in that weaker position if you need to, much like they had 2Es playing on A main in that exact same spot. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. If Fury can continue to get out onto the side and get the spike down, in theory, the formula gets much easier.
I think the issues for Fury will come if 2G play less committed into mains and they sort of bunker down on sites deeper, like we saw Fury themselves adjust on their defensive side. When you deny the early fights on the actual sites themselves, attackers oftentimes run into this situation where you can't actually accelerate all the way in and plant the spike. You never have full control of the space.
Right. And so 2G will call timeout, possibly to consider the very thing we were just discussing. No, a player who, you know, we've talked a lot about on the show and everyone was really excited to see was Spike. And he's had a couple of moments, but so far, how would you rate his performance relative to how the rest of the stage has been for him?
I would say weaker than his other matches. I mean, even in their losses, the guy's been pretty lights out for the team.
Currently sitting top 10 in ACS after only winning 1 map of the 5 that he's played.
Yeah, that's kind of just crazy on its own, isn't it? But I think what we saw a few times in the first half on the attacking side, he was, I mean, always the first into sight.
Sure.
There were a few times where after Fury adjusted, he just got shut down on that initial entry. He's been kind of matched blow for blow with Paula on the other side of things. I feel like it's one of them getting a 2 or 3K in a lot of these rounds until Silence comes in and sees it through.
Yeah, he has been the difference maker this map, hasn't he?
Ever since the pistol, the very opening.
So what are the adjustments on the other side of this timeout? Prize is still playing towards A. LZ controlling the middle of the map as well. A lot invested here.
Yeah, 2G forced up into it with not full rifles. Guardian and Bulldog. What they're doing is they're playing tag team protocols in mid. So 2 arm in arm in top mid, 2 over into A link. I'm gonna say it doesn't matter if you have worse guns, we're just gonna play better together.
And just to be clear, we talked a couple of rounds ago, in round 19, I believe, about how that was the swing round, and that very well may decide the map.
Yeah.
We're in a very similar position again.
But the other way, 2G lose this and things go horribly, horribly wrong. But we're down to a minute now. There's still beautiful stall on this B site, the Viper Vise, and also Silence has the ultimate. So the longer Furia take to actually pop onto this site, the more and more they're going to get stalled away because they don't have the luxury of a lurk.
The Thorns will pop, the ult is not being used yet, but they're stuck on the other side. Paul's on a solo mission, him against the world, and so far it's working.
Complete hero for the team. If he can't get that, the round's gone.
Silence still has the ult, and that might be the way to get back out onto the side and win this retake attempt. Keep a close eye on Adverso across the middle of the map, controlling the late rotations through.
2G have to take their time. The Nightfall is so far away from the rest of the team. And here it comes.
I believe 3 were not tagged by that ult, so they're still gonna have primary weapons to get their way through. Paula pushes out Heat with a shorty at a distance. It's not gonna be enough. Orango's left in a 1v3. Make that 2. Head spotted, he's gonna get it down to 1, and Prize settles and wins the round for 2G.
Prize had to get that for his team. Lose that and it all slips away. But what on earth is happening in that retake? I mean, the Steel Garden comes out, so all of Fury are forced onto their secondaries, and they had shorties bought up. But the utility connecting from Prize's Fade as well revealed the positions of those site players.
No more distractions.
Come down to that narrow of a margin to keep 2G in the lead. Boy, light armor on a couple members, regen as well for 2G. An ult for Heat here. And a 1-3-1 approach again. Remember, this is where Furious stalled out a couple of rounds ago. This time, a little bit more aggressive from the defensive paranoia.
Spike?
Spike's playing on the other side of the wall. Still concealed, still getting the kill.
That's unbelievable, and he's out.
Criminal that he gets away with that.
A hit and run, and Furia are speechless.
Toxins going up.
Timid.
The money's kind of weird, too. I mean,
they'll be able to manage,
it's not pretty.
but it'll be a 2G on map point. And sure, you've had guys like Heat. How many crazy rounds has he had? Adverso as well. The 1v3 still fresh in 2G's mind.
I'll find you.
Prize getting pushed off this early line. They scale up mid. They're going to try to hunt him down, and they will succeed.
Heat said it's his name.
All of a sudden, the probability
30
of
seconds
this
left.
becomes a little less certain. Mid loss ahead of the smoke. Adverso swings through, but Gobert will cover. Still an advantage for 2G, albeit slight.
One enemy
A
remaining.
narrow
Beautiful.
margin as Gobert plays just right. Pixel perfect. 10 seconds left.
10 seconds
Spike
left.
scooped up, and Tui's committing to the plant. Will succeed,
Planted.
but has to pull off this 1v2. Late on the map, a map pick that they need to secure, one that they brought into the fold. What they thought was their home ground, and 2G are knocking on the door.
That opening fight was everything. I still can't believe, I actually can't believe that Spike gets that kill. It looked like he was fully stunned up in the corner.
In behind walls.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that we're going to get a look at it again, but I agree with you. That felt like the difference maker. And how many times have we seen Spike in this map get into a position that feels a little uncomfortable? You should die. You somehow get the kill. You stay alive. And then what?
It's just impressive to watch always. He's a guy that never stops to ask himself, like, what could go wrong? You know, if he sees an angle, he's going to take an opportunity to go for it. And you have to, right? When Neon's the best agent you've got, you want to exploit every weakness you're going to see on the other side.
The kid is electric. You got to give him that. And you begin to understand as you see him now on the big stage why people were so excited about him.
Certainly been making a name for himself here. Now about to take down Furia on their map pick. First time seeing either of these two teams play Corrode. It's been very close so far. And so often, you know, the chaos of these late rounds. Having single players showing up, seeing their way through it. I really liked how 2G played that final 2v1 right next to each other. Great spacing out of them. They have locked in since that timeout to close things out and close it out cleanly.
3 ults on the side of the attack. You imagine those will be part of the plan. Mid aggression from 2G. They're not really taking any of these timing windows that are being provided by Adverso's Eye.
I think Furia are trying to see if they can maybe eat up a Vise wall if it's on this side of the map.
It's not.
Catch the jiggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just about baiting utility, but now what that means is in mid, all of a sudden huge space taken. Adverso holding, Adverso waiting!
They might have overdone it.
Kills is massive.
Adverso beautifully played. 2G extend just a bit too far. And Prize might try to do the same. Maybe he'll have a little bit more success.
I mean, once you go down in numbers, you've got to step up and take a risk like that. That is pretty, but it's not enough.
Oh, and the res will certainly tip the scales back in Furia's favor.
Now they can regroup back into the B site. The round started by baiting out some gas, by baiting out the thorns on the ground. They know there's nothing else left to stall them here.
An orb line up towards heaven.
30 seconds left.
So force Gobert out of the play. And Furia will, or should, it's probably a better way to say that, should get to 11.
Planted.
2G are going to have to save these guns. Few players wouldn't be able to buy.
Yeah, they cannot invest into this.
And if you contrast this with, you know, round 10, 10 on 10, it was such a pivotal round, right, where Furia's econ was about to be broken, and 2G had 5 ultimates. Well, now we head in to whether or not it's the end of the map or we're going to OT. 2G are only going to have the Nightfall. Whereas on the other side of things, Furia have access to 4 ultis. They can blitz their way into a site. They don't have to worry about a Vise wall or any of this stall because the Nightfall plus Neon ult combo is so deadly.
Right, and then you've got 2E's TPing back site, and I mean, who knows what
There's a lot to work with. I mean, and then you get a post plant where you have a Sage wall on one choke, a Viper ult on the other. 2G have to somehow get in front of this site hit because I don't really see a world where you're retaking heavy numbers into the tools that Furia would have at their disposal.
And so what is the call here for 2G? You're right, do they play ahead? And I mean, you take a look at this replay here with Adverso getting 2 mid. That was because they tried playing ahead.
Yeah, that was a contact walk though. I could see them going back into the pistol round.
Let's choke them.
That's what LZ's set up for. Again, it's jump peeking in main from Spike with a Paranoia ready to fight forward.
Toxins going
They
up.
want to blow up the map.
I'm really surprised Furia are not just fully sending it onto a site here,
Again,
given the tools that they have.
with the map on the line, it's a triple boost bot mid. But I think by only seeing the one person there, by not seeing this wall held down, they might actually expect that 2G have gone back into pistol. They've shown this setup 3 or 4 rounds already.
Part of the concern, though, is that wall has been so valuable in the post plants. You won't have that now. And so
now,
all of a sudden, that's harder to hold.
But there's a Vise Viper wall here. There's a counter Nightfall if Furia try to exec into this, and 3 players behind it. This is about to be a bloodbath. Here it comes.
Waiting for the Wisp to be lit. The Nightfall will be popped. Paula falls. Traded back by Prize, though.
No one else is in. They're all stuck behind the wall. And we're down to 45 seconds, Doug. Look at mid now as well. 2G have stepped down into space. Fury can't go anywhere except for Tui's with the ultimate.
Remember the trouble they got into in this exact position in the last round.
It's a fake ulti. He ulted into A main itself.
Heat's waiting on the other side of the wall.
But we're down to 30 seconds, Doug.
left.
Surely you can't do this.
Not going to find a challenge. As Adverso creeps forward. Suspicion, surprised by Heat there. The gun barrel gives him away. Prize settles the shots, but is traded right back. They don't have anything coming in from A main, so once again, they're going to try to funnel their way through mid, and they're going to succeed. 13 seconds left. Silence is the final boss. Can he hold them back? As the clock ticks away, Tui's gets 3, the pick goes down. So does the Spike, just barely. Spike and LZ trying to avoid OT. Spam not connecting, it's all onto Spike in a 1v2. The youngster thrust in a position to be the hero. And he's gonna take his time. Repositioning and making sure there's nobody playing around, but that pit still has to be dealt with. And that is formidable on the other side. Spike gets cleared, we're going to OT.
That was a ridiculous round out of Tui's. I mean, Furia got out-called, running into the stack. They got out-fought, running into the stack. And somehow still Tui's is able to get it all done himself.
10 seconds
Each
left.
one of these fights, there as well, seeing the player trying to push into the Viper's pit. That is just one guy saying, this game is not over.
Overtime in this in this best of 3 on Corrode, and then Sunset and Ascent if needed to close out the series. 2G on the attacking side. A lean towards B, where Heat currently sits.
2G really did not fight much for the mid space at all. They were able to abuse the side anchors on B and A consistently. Things aren't changing this round either. Slow walk into B. But Furia are ready to rotate in.
He will try to delay with the spit spike. What in the world? Finding altitude where it shouldn't be. Getting out onto the side and getting his 1 kill, but the rest of Furia holds the line.
Just shots through smoke connecting. Now the Sage slows to stall. And 2G played without a lurk. There's nothing to move back into.
There's no other option. There is no plan B.
And if they go back all the way into A, check out main. Tui's the nemesis who kept this map going.
Yeah, it's the only reason we're here.
He'll be there to greet them.
The question is, will it be a warm greeting? He's not ready for it. And that's a spike.
Spike down A.
Tui's not over
One
swinging,
enemy
waiting for the
remaining.
fight to come to him. Beautifully done.
How is this guy
30
alive?
seconds left.
The bullets just aren't connecting on him.
Still had a flash that late in the round, too.
Fury have brought it back. This half was a disaster. You think about so many times on the defense side of things, sorry, the attack side of things, where Adverso gets that 1v3. This game could have been over so many times.
Yep.
Spike down A.
Yet Tui's, Paula, they breathed life back into this team.
1 round away from taking Corrode. Furia now to set the pace.
Paula's been good when popping out into this B site.
Just Thorns here.
Gobera challenges this angle a lot. Furia are always waiting for it and then slipping into the site.
Slow will stop the swing for just a moment. Paul is kind of in an awkward position
I mean,
here.
look at that wall.
Meanwhile, Adverso falling. And we both have seen they're playing right on the other side of this utility. They're playing right next to one another. And Furia get a massive advantage. Keep a close eye on Heat. Rotating across the middle of the map, laid into this, and there's nothing to cover it. 2G are in trouble. They've got to win the fights on the site, and they have to do it now.
waiting for the lurk.
The chokehold on this map is tightening with every single moment. Heat gets LZ. Silence left in a 1v3. Make that 2. Still some time to play around this. But so much easier said than done. Silence gets it down to a 1v1.
Spike planted.
Arango has ult.
Silence has been so good all map long.
Can he deliver again? There it is. The res online. Silence forced to swing out and try to get these fights. Still not able to connect onto one. That was a massive window that's been gone. Gets his one, and that's all it will be. Furia take map 1.